Today we are going to be doing a Q&A. I don't want to do just a regular sit-down Q&A, so I thought I would check some things off my to-do list while I answered some questions. So let's get into it. Can you say why you broke up with your boyfriend? Do you still read all of the cases? Being in a relationship while in law school? Question mark. Good idea or no? So question number one, I think most YouTubers would probably save this to the end because it's arguably the most juicy question because it got the most thumbs up. But I'm not gonna save it to the end because I just wanna get to the point. I wanna give you guys the drama. Basically the question is, can you say why you broke up with your boyfriend? Was it too hard to maintain a relationship or did you just grow apart? And I did not address this for some time because it's very awkward and weird, but I get it. I get why you guys want to know because I follow YouTubers too, and when they have a boyfriend that's appearing in their channel for a certain amount of time and then all of a sudden that stops, I immediately jump and I'm like, what is the drama? There has to be some sort of tea here. I am so nosy with YouTubers I watch because I get so invested. It's actually kind of weird. Over the past 3 months, I think I've gotten like probably 20 or so comments about it, and I didn't expect to get that many actually, but at the beginning I was deleting them just because I didn't really know. I don't often delete comments, but I just didn't know how I wanted to approach it. After that long little monologue, I am prepared to talk about it. So, as you guys know, I had a boyfriend who was on my channel quite frequently. Actually, in a decent amount of my videos, he would make an appearance. That kind of stopped a few months ago. It basically was that I felt like we had just grown apart. There was no drama. It was actually, I think, a very mature decision to end that relationship. I think it ended at a point where it was still good, so I don't look back on it with any really bad memories or a sour taste in my mouth from the relationship itself. It was an important step for me as a person to realize that I wasn't locked in, so to speak, and I could make that decision, and it was really hard. And it was a really hard couple of months, but I'm very happy. But I also don't have any negative feelings towards that person. They were my best friend for 2.5 years, and I look back on it with a lot of positive memories. But it wouldn't have been fair to either of us to stay in the relationship. That's pretty much that. I hope that kind of answers the question. It is kind of strange that people care enough to ask, and I think oh my gosh, I just dropped my beauty blender behind the mirror. To me, it's crazy that people care enough about my life to ask, and it's actually, I'm kind of honored that people are like, hey, I watch her videos enough to notice that something is off. I'm gonna ask about it. I think it's kind of cool. I'm at the park with Evie right now. I'm gonna answer a couple of quick questions and then I'm gonna go back inside because I'm really cold. What type of dog is Evie? So Evie is a miniature Aussie Doodle. She is the same breed as Melba. They're just different colors. Evie was very yellow when she was a baby, but now fur has lightened up a little bit as she's gotten older. But yeah, she's a miniature Aussie Doodle. What classes are you taking next semester? And this has changed a little bit from the first time I told you guys what classes I was taking. I think I mentioned it in a vlog, but I have made some changes. So I'm taking commercial sales, which is so funny because Nathan and I decided to take it because we both did well in UCC Article 2. So guys, UCC, the chant, it's back. We're doing more UCC next semester. It's with the same professor. Then I am taking corporate and white collar crime, which I'm excited about because I did some work with that over my 1L summer. And I'm taking family law because it fit in well with our schedule, and I think there's some family law on the bar exam. Then I'm taking complex commercial litigation, which is another more practical class, and then I am taking corporations. I'm most excited about corporate and white collar crime, and honestly another UCC class because I really did kind of enjoy contracts a lot. All right, time to fold some clothes and answer some more questions. People often say they just know if law school is for them or not, but how do you know? That statement has always confused me because I don't know how people know. This is a good question because I've heard that be said quite a bit. I knew pretty early on that law school was the right path for me just because I knew what my strengths and weaknesses were. I knew I really liked writing, I really liked researching, I really liked developing arguments, and I loved the strategy portion of it. So for me, that's why law school was like, okay, this suits all of my strengths. And it's something that I'm passionate about. Like, I want to advocate for others, I want to do all this stuff. I think that sentence kind of makes it seem like it's a gut intuition of I know that law school is right for me, like this is my destiny or whatever, or makes it seem more frilly than it actually is. I just folded this like 3 times. I think you can know that law school is right for you simply by assessing what you're good at and what you like to do. So if you make a list of things you think that you're good at, and a lot of them line up with the skills required to be a lawyer or the skills that you're gonna learn in law school, then maybe law school's right for you. I thought I wanted to be a doctor when I first started college, and then I sat down and I made a list of my skills, my strengths and my weaknesses. Math and science were not my strengths. Even though I thought I would like it, it just didn't suit what I was good at. So I did more research on what I was good at, what I like to do, and that's when I stumbled upon law, and that's when I started taking classes around it, and I realized every time I took a class that had to do with the law in undergrad, I really, really enjoyed it. So for me, I just don't think it's one of those things where you have this gut intuition of this is where I'm supposed to be. Not everything is like I was sitting there one day and I had a moment where I was like, law school is my path. So I don't think it's something that's gonna really just like strike you in the middle of one day. You're gonna have this realization of, I need to go to law school. But I do think if you sit down and you're really honest about yourself, about what you're good at, what you like to do, that's how you can kind of come to the conclusion that law school might be a good fit. Do you still read all of the cases? This is interesting because no, but yes. Let me explain. The short answer is I do not read every case as closely as I did in 1L. I was watching an old vlog a few days ago, and in that vlog I said that I read every case 2 to 3 times. That is an egregious waste of your time. Even as a 1L, when you feel like you don't have anything to do, so you feel like you should read the case 3 times, it's just a waste. Now I am way more strategic with what I read. So if I know I'm on call, I'll read the case a little bit closer. But if I'm not on call and I have other things to do, I will read the Quimby and I will skim. So generally, I have a pretty good idea of what's going on in the case, but I don't read it as closely just because honestly, a lot of the times, even now, 3 semesters into law school, sometimes I'll read a case and I will pick out parts of the case and I'll be like, this is really important, this is really important, and then I'll go into class and that's not the important parts that my professor wants me to focus on. So I don't torture myself by rereading each case 3 times because I just think it's an enormous waste of your time. I've heard some people say that knowing the facts of a case is completely pointless and all you need to know is the rule, but here's why I disagree with that. When your professor is making an exam, they can't reinvent the wheel too much. Professors love to be creative and come up with weird scenarios, but a lot of the time, they are going to look something like a case that you read in class. So that's why I think that reading the case can be helpful to an extent, or at least knowing a general fact pattern. So when you're taking the exam, you can say, hey, looks awfully close to this case we discussed in class. Here's why it's a little bit different. Here's how the court applied the rule in this case. Here's how they'd likely apply the law in this case. So I think it can be helpful for that. Long story short, no, I don't read every case super closely, but yes, I have a general idea of what's going on in every case before I step into my class. I'm here to answer the next question, which is my best and worst purchases of 2021. I liked this question. First, the Lululemon Align leggings were probably the biggest, it was the hardest thing for me to actually spend the money and buy, but I absolutely love them. I wear them at least weekly. They are such high quality. They are so flattering. They are literally the best pair of leggings I've ever owned. I've tried knockoffs from Amazon and I think they're really good, but nothing compares to the Lululemon Align. So those are definitely like my favorite purchase of 2021. Secondly, in terms of makeup, I've really been enjoying the Tarte Maracuja drops. So if you saw earlier in this video, whenever I'm putting on foundation, I will mix in 3 to 4 drops of this Maracuja oil, and I have very dry skin, and honestly, I think it makes your foundation go on so much better. It makes my skin feel so dewy and so hydrated. I also, if you watch any of my videos, you know the Pixi Glow Tonic is my favorite skincare product I have literally ever owned. I use it twice a day. I think it's done so much for my skin. It is amazing. Overall, just an amazing product, and I have raved about it so much. It makes your skin feel so clean. I have this travel bag from Amazon that I've also really loved. It's just great. You can throw, I have everything in there just so I can always have it with me in case I need my makeup, my skincare, whatever. That's been great. And then my new Fila's that I got in my last vlog have also been a favorite purchase of 2021. So those are all my favorites. They will all be linked down below. I promise you I would not lead you astray with this. But that leads me to my worst purchase. This isn't a bad purchase because of the product. This is fully user error. I bought, if you saw a couple of vlogs ago, I bought the T3 curling iron, the one with the clamp, 1.25 inches, and I was very excited about it. It was my Christmas present to myself, and I think this will be a great product once I learn how to use it. I have watched hours worth of tutorials on how to use this, and I still have not gotten it right. I tried to use it last night. My hair looked horrible. So right now, if things do not improve, it will be my worst purchase. It is just a very steep learning curve, and I feel like the more tutorials I watch, the more confused I get. So that's my least favorite as of right now, but I've seen how people's hair looks whenever they actually know how to use it, and it's really nice. So right now, it's just my worst purchase just because it's useless to me because it just makes my hair look awful. But if I learn how to use it, I think I'd really like it. So those are my best and worst purchases of 2021. Another question while I sit here and have my afternoon relaxation. The question is, being in a relationship while in law school, question mark, good idea or no? In contrast to my answer for the last question, I think it could be a good idea to be in a relationship in law school. I think my first year, my 1L year, I was in a relationship the entire time, and I found it to be a great support system for me. My relationship was with somebody who was not in law school, and I felt like that was really, really helpful for me. And it was nice to have somebody that I could not think about law school with, because with my law school friends, it's very easy to have your entire friendship revolve around talking about school because that's your entire life. But I think having somebody outside of law school was really good for me during that time because I felt like I had a lot of emotional support, and I also felt as if it gave me a really good distraction. So I think it could be a good idea. If you are like going on first dates and, you know, doing that a lot and dating around, like, and trying to find someone, it can be very stressful, and it can kind of distract you from like getting your work done, and it can just be stressful. So keep that in mind, and like make sure that you're not compromising your mental health, your studies to like go on dates and meet people, especially because it's not supposed to be stressful, right? Like if you meet somebody, it's supposed to be really fun. It's supposed to add to your life. So I think it can be a really good idea. Obviously, it depends on the relationship. Some relationships are just inherently toxic and unhealthy, and those are obviously not good for you to be in while in law school or any time. But I think if you're trying to go into law school saying, I'm not going to date for 3 years, I am just going to swear that off because it's going to hinder my productivity, it's going to distract me, I don't think that's necessarily true. I think you can definitely have a successful relationship. You definitely have time for it. In fact, it's probably good that you take time away from your studies to go be with somebody that you enjoy being around. So I wouldn't swear off being in a relationship at all in law school. If you're someone, I remember when I started law school, I was like, I'm gonna have to break up with my boyfriend just because I'm gonna need all that time for studying, and you don't need to do that. You have plenty of time, free time to balance a relationship, as long as you communicate and as long as you prioritize spending that time together. So I think it can definitely be a good idea. Pause from the Q&A to say that I treated myself to some crumble today. Look at this. Reminder to all of you to treat yourself, whether it's with cookies, whether it's with a bath, whether it's with a Netflix show. Oh, I don't even know which one I'm gonna try first. I'm gonna try them all right now, but yes, this is my self-care for this weekend. Back to the Q&A. I had a bad night last night, like not a great night at all, and I fell asleep with my makeup on. I know, shameful. But I thought while I do this, while I take my makeup off, I will answer another question. Life update / what led to your decision to move? Life update. I've just been, you know, going through it lately, and I've been trying to prioritize things that make me happy. Also having a bit of an existential crisis. Since I've been settled into the apartment, I have felt exponentially better. But some of my goals, I talked about this in my last vlog, I just really want to improve my self-confidence. I want to find new hobbies. These are things that are big goals for me in 2022 because I just feel like they could be better, and I feel like I need to learn how to value myself more. So that's like how I'm doing. Not well, you know, like, you know when you feel like you're on the cusp of having like kind of a breakthrough mentally. That's where I kind of feel like something's got to give at some point. Why did you decide to move out? I wanted to be closer to campus. It was just getting to be a lot for me every day. I was extremely stressed last semester, dealing with driving and also spending 12 hours a day on campus. I just thought it would be so nice if I had a space that was closer to campus where I didn't have to do that. So that was the main reason. I didn't decide that I wanted to do that until November when I was going through all of my life changes, and I was just like, you know what? It'd probably be good for me to move. And I think, you know, those things happening was kind of the push that I needed, and I don't know if I would have done it otherwise. So I think it was a good decision. I'm very excited to have my own space. I'm already really enjoying it. So yeah, that's kind of why I moved. I'm gonna wash my face and then I'll answer another question. I'm gonna use, this is my new morning face wash, the Origins Ginseng Refreshing Scrub Cleanser. I use this in the morning, so I'm gonna do that, and then I will answer another question. Okay, I'm gonna answer this next question while I tone and put sunscreen on. Would you ever consider training for a marathon? I love this question. I go back and forth on my fitness goals all of the time. Right now, I'm definitely in I want to bulk up, I want to get really strong, so I'm eating a ton, I'm lifting predominantly. I haven't went on a run, and if you guys watch my vlogs, you know that I run. I used to run a lot. I ran a lot in high school, a lot in college. I haven't been interested in running lately, but I can totally see myself. I know I'll get back into it at some point. A marathon? I'm not sure. I do love challenging myself, but I don't like torturing myself. And while I do love running, that's just a long time. The most I ever ran in one day was 10 miles, and that was through like a cross-country practice, and it wasn't like 10 miles straight. The most I've ever run straight is 8 miles, so I could probably do a half marathon. The only problem is my hip flexors are like that of an 80-year-old man, so after like 6 miles, my hip flexors get really tired and my knees start to do a lot of the work, and it's really not good for my knees. When I was running the most consistently, I was having the most knee problems, and I was told it was because of my hip, so I was doing a lot of hip strengthening and it just like didn't seem to help. So I'm also like kind of scared to start running more frequently just because I don't want to upset my old lady hips. Right now, I think it's just kind of against my goals of like building muscle. But I should start doing a little bit of cardio again because it's just, you know, good for my heart. But yeah, that's the answer to that question. I'm gonna finish getting ready. I'm gonna go to the gym, update you when I'm gonna answer another question. Look who's back, everybody.
I'm back.
It has been so long. It has been what? It was like 3 weeks.
Yeah, it's really not that long.
It was not that long, but it felt like forever. And I'm coming on here to answer another question. And I decided.
Well, where are we?
Oh, we're at the gym.
A little New Year's resolution up in here.
We like pretty regularly went to the gym beforehand, but we're gonna do better this time. This year.
Yeah, that's the operative sentence right there.
This year is our year. So we're gonna answer a question, and I decided that how we're gonna do this is to spice things up. I'm gonna answer the question for Nathan, and Nathan's gonna answer the question for me. We might do 2 because I haven't answered a ton in this video. But the first question, what is the first thing that you would buy with your first attorney paycheck? So you have to answer for me and I have to answer for you. Nathan, what he would do with his first attorney paycheck, I know this with absolute certainty. He would not buy anything tangible. Like if he had things he wanted on Amazon, he'd order them.
Yeah.
He would go out to a very nice dinner. Like you would go out to like, Nathan.
Food is tangible.
I
wouldn't buy an asset.
You wouldn't buy an asset. You'd buy something that would disappear quickly. Food
into my mouth.
But Nathan loves he loves eating really like fancy. Like he's like a foodie in the sense of like not like me where it's like Krispy Kreme donuts. Like you enjoy going out somewhere really really nice.
He's not a foodie like me who likes Doritos.
I'm not even kidding. It'd be like a $900 meal, and the portions would be this big.
But there's a lot of them.
Yeah,
and all together they make a big meal.
So that's 100% what you would do.
Tasting menu, wine pairing.
That's 100% what you do.
I mean, it's part of it's like, look, if I asked you what you ate, a couple weeks ago, you would know.
Yeah.
Because it's just like, it's so mundane sometimes, it's like, so it does sound a little ridiculous, and I do understand the take that it is, to spend a lot of money on something like that you eat. But it's an experience that I'll remember for the rest of my life. And it's something that I'll be like, this was a really awesome meal that I enjoyed with really great people. And, it was an event. So, okay, Madison tries to pretend that she's like a really irresponsible with money, but she does calculate very frequently her budget. There'd be money towards things like Starbucks, Sephora, the mall trips, like the Amazon purchases, Panda Express in the parking lot. Like, there'd be money towards the day-to-day, right? But like, with a good influx of cash, I think money towards student loans, a little bit, money towards rent. Like, I think you'd be pretty responsible with it. I also think you'd go online. I mean, she does this thing. And this is like during class, always. She pulls up her shopping cart on, any sort of like usually athleisure website.
Yeah, Fabletics.
Adds a ton of things to the cart. Removes it all.
Yeah.
Next day, rinse and repeat. It's usually the same clothes, too.
I do it
It's like a ritual.
I do that in store, too. I'll pick up a bunch of stuff, and then as I go, I start putting it back when I realize that it's not responsible.
It's like very active window shopping.
Yeah.
But
it's like I'm gonna do it this time.
I'm gonna do it, yeah. And I mean, she starts filling out the credit card information, and then he gets to the part where it's like order, delete it all. So, I think maybe she'd actually do a purchase on something like that, like a big KK Fit haul.
Oh, KK Fit.
Yeah, a big, something along those lines.
Big Gymshark haul.
Big Gymshark haul.
Yeah. Why is WashU better than other law schools like Duke or UT? I know you're biased, but I want your take on what Washington University has that you feel like other schools lack. Also, other than the obvious LSAT GPA, what does WashU look for in their admits? Where are you going to practice after law school? Thank you so much for the Q&A. I love your channel. Thank you so much. Is WashU better than those schools listed? I think it's relative to what you want.
Look, I don't even know this too. Within certain schools, there's different programs, there's different things that they specialize in or whatever else. Like maybe WashU's public interest program is better than some of the other T14 schools. Or, maybe they place higher in some, there's all statistics on clerkships, big law, X, Y, and Z. And those are all things you should take into consideration. I think the thing for WashU that stood out is WashU is very, very generous. If you're getting into T14 schools, WashU is very generous with scholarship money. Yeah. Like, if you are usually above like a 170 LSAT and have a good GPA, like they full ride.
Yeah.
Which is good, right? Because then you can use that to leverage against other schools, or you can go to WashU and not have to worry about debt after, which frees up your ability to do, public interest or other things like that, or just not to have to worry about making money on such a, large scale to pay it back. So that is, I think, an advantage that WashU has.
And if you're somebody who got, maybe you didn't get a 170 on the outside, maybe you got in the 150s. Maybe they'll take you.
I think the simplest thing is just take the best deal. The best school you get for the best deal.
And also if you go visit and you have that kind of feeling, sometimes your gut feeling should not be discounted.
Yeah.
When I was debating between WashU and SLU, and I went to WashU and I was like, okay, this is where I feel comfortable here. What is WashU looking for in their admits? I honestly think you said, other than the obvious LSAT GPA, WashU wants to get those numbers up. They want high LSAT scores right now.
They want to get their numbers up, yeah.
Other than that, I really do think, for me personally, because I do feel like I was kind of I had a lower LSAT score, I think they liked the fact that I was from St. Louis. I think they liked the fact, like, I think the interview for me was a lot bigger of a deal than it is for somebody who has a higher LSAT score. I think they look at more than LSAT and GPA for sure.
They do.
I'm not going to say your, like, personal statement's going to carry the day if your stats are awful, but, like, I do think they look kind of at the whole package.
It's hard, right? Like, we're not in admissions. Like, I don't really know what they look at. A strong interview, make your application as good as it can be. Like, if this is a plug for, you know, do the best you can on your LSAT, because that's the thing you can change, whereas your GPA you can't by the time you're applying to law school.
And if you come to WashU, you can be friends with us.
We're so fun.
We're so fun, and we have so many other friends.
In fact, you too could be in a video like this.
Yeah, honestly, we need a third. We need somebody right there. Right in the back. Right in the back middle.
What about Helen?
Who's Helen?
Don't you see her? Right there.
And also, I'm going to be practicing in St. Louis after graduation, so that answers that. But, yeah. I think I'm actually going to close out this video here because I feel like I've answered a decent amount of questions. I still have some left.
A decent two.
I've answered more.
Oh, you mean like throughout time?
Throughout the time, yeah. That's the end of the video. And we're going to go into the gym, but I hope you guys enjoyed this Q&A. If you would like a part 2, let me know. I hope you enjoyed how I filmed this, whatever. Just let me know your thoughts on this video down in the comments below, and I will see you in the next one. Goodbye.